I scoffed. Fine, then tell me the truth. If you don't, I'll go straight to the old madam and tell her old Hang is no good. I'll leave for Shanghai, back to my own home. My threat could make old Hang lose his job. I didn't realize how cruel it was back then. I was too young to understand what losing a job meant, especially for someone old Hang's age. If he left the Yi family, his life would fall apart. His shaking got worse. I waited, sure he would give in. But to my surprise, old Hang spoke in a sad yet firm voice. Young Master Wei, there's nothing to tell. Really, nothing. I raised my voice. You're lying. Old Hang, an honest man at heart, froze, then admitted, yes, I'm lying. But no matter what you ask, I won't say a word. I won't. I was furious, tempted to hit him. I raised my hand but stopped. Fine, old Hang, you're tough. I'll go tell the old madam right now. He stood, looking like he might cry, completely helpless. Young Master Wei, don't go to the old madam. She's been sad enough these days. If you refuse to stay, it'll make her even more heartbroken. His words shocked me, and my anger began to calm down. At that moment, I realized old Hang was a simple man. The more I pushed, the more he would refuse to talk. But if I was smart, I might get him to tell the truth. So, I asked calmly, as if it were nothing, why is the old madam so sad? Old Hang started. The young master, he stopped himself after just 3 words. But those 3 words were enough for me. They proved, without a doubt, that something was wrong with Jockey. Old Hang's face became even more panicked, but I acted calm. All right, old Hang, no need to say more. I already know what's going on with Jockey. He looked at me, unsure. You already know? Of course, I said. Let's head back. I was just testing you. I didn't expect Fourth Aunt to tell you to keep quiet, and you really didn't say a word. Impressive. Old Hang quickly corrected me. It wasn't Fourth Aunt, it was the old madam herself who told me to stay quiet. Young Master Wei, you know? Who told you? I smirked. Someone was willing to talk. You think everyone is as quiet as you? But I can't say who. If the old madam found out, they'd be fired, right? He nodded strongly. Yes, yes. He seemed to believe that I knew the truth. Looking at me, he asked, Young Master Wei, you know, and you're not scared? I froze. I had claimed to know, but in reality, I knew nothing. I had been curious, suspicious, but scared? That thought hadn't even entered my mind. Scared? I shot back. What is there to be scared of? Old Hang sighed heavily. Young Master Wei, you haven't seen him, so of course you're not scared. But I'm terrified. We're all terrified. I listened closely, trying to figure out what could be so frightening. From his words, I understood one thing. Whatever this was, it terrified many people, not just him. I scoffed. You're all a bunch of cowards. Old Hang let out a heavy sigh. Young Master Wei, our young master is just like you, one of the best people. But for him to suddenly, he was cut off just as I was listening to his every word. Someone came closer, saying, It's getting dark. You two should head back to the mansion. The man was probably one of West Garden's caretakers. I pulled Old Hang along, and we walked out. His carriage was parked just outside. I silently wished the caretaker hadn't interrupted. If he hadn't, Old Hang might have told the whole story. To keep the conversation going, I sat beside Old Hang on the driver's seat as he drove the carriage back to the city. I said, Yeah, your young master's one of the best. Old Hang continued where he left off. Such a good man, but tricked by a fox spirit. Who wouldn't be heartbroken? I froze, then burst into laughter, feeling both disbelief and amusement. After all that, I thought I would get some big secret out of Old Hang. But this, Jockey tricked by a fox spirit. Complete nonsense. A quick note on fox spirits. In China, from north to south, there are many legends about fox spirits. Stories like Strange Tales from a Chinese Studio describe them as looking like humans and being very charming figures. Of all the places I've been, Suzhou is the one most convinced they're real. The first time I visited the Yi family, I was just 12, in my first year of middle school. The old madam greeted me with a warning not to upset the fox spirit. I didn't believe in such things, of course. She must have sensed my doubt because she showed me over 20 eggshells. Not ordinary eggshells, these were completely whole, with no cracks or holes, yet empty inside. She claimed they were eggs the fox spirit had eaten. I couldn't explain how the yolk and white disappeared without breaking the shell, so I half believed her. Over time, more strange things happened, but I never saw a fox spirit myself. Naturally, I didn't fully believe it. So when old Hang said a young man, a college student, was tricked by a fox spirit, I couldn't help it, I burst out laughing. Old Hang stared at me, horrified. "Young Master Wei, why are you laughing? Don't laugh." Still laughing quietly, I said, "Old Hang, you say your young master is tricked by a fox spirit? Come on, with his good looks, he's probably just fallen for some real tricky woman." I thought I had solved the mystery. Jockey must have gotten involved with some bad woman, causing problems with his family. But the moment I said tricky woman, old Hang's body shook and he dropped the whip. With a shout, he stopped the carriage, jumped down to grab the whip, and climbed back up, begging, "Young Master Wei, please do a good deed, don't say that." I knew calling a fox spirit a tricky woman was a very bad thing to say, the worst insult. That's why old Hang was so shaken he dropped the whip. Seeing him so upset, I found it funny. "Old Hang, what is there to be afraid of? I'm the one who said tricky woman. If the fox spirit is angry, it will come for me, not you," he sighed. "Young Master Wei, I'm worried for you. If you end up like our young master-o," he kept shaking his head, sighing as he flicked the whip. I realized this was not a laughing matter. Every time he mentioned the young master, his face showed a fear that was hard to describe. I became serious. "Old Hang, there's nothing wrong with your young master. I just talked to him on the phone." He nodded. "When he's fine, he's like his old self, but..." Before he could finish, 2 bright lights shone from behind us, followed by the loud sound of a car horn. Old Hang pulled the carriage to the side, and with a whoosh, a car sped past. In that very quick moment, I saw clearly Jockey was in the car. It wasn't my imagination. Old Hang shouted, "Young Master." I yelled, "Jockey, Jockey." But his car was moving fast. By the time we called out, it was already 10 meters ahead. He clearly didn't hear us, showing no sign of stopping. In a blink, the car disappeared. I urged, "Old Hang, whether we catch him or not, let's chase after him." Old Hang's body trembled. How could this happen? How could they let the young master out? His words hinted at something deeper. I asked, "Old Hang, what do you mean? Doesn't Jockey have the freedom to come and go? Why would he need to be watched?" He sighed many times. "You don't know, young Master Wei. You really don't know anything." I nodded. "You're right. I'm still confused. Tell me, what's going on?" Old Hang was breathing heavily, looking like he had finally decided to tell me the truth. But just then, with another whoosh, a second car pulled up next to the carriage. The car door swung open and a strong man jumped out, shouting, "Old Hang, the young master's gone. He took the car. Did you see him? He's gone." Old Hang panted. "I saw him. He just passed us." The man moved to climb back into the car, but I jumped down and stood in his way. He froze, clearly not expecting me. A mix of surprise and relief appeared on his face as he cried out, "Young Master Wei." He was one of Jockey's father's bodyguards, so of course he knew me. I gave a quick nod and pushed past him to look into the car. Besides the driver, there was a serious-looking middle-aged man in the back, possibly a doctor. I shouted, "Get out! All of you, get out!" The man snapped, "Who are you?" I didn't waste time arguing with him. I yanked open the car door, grabbed his shirt, and pulled him out. The driver quickly stepped out too. I shouted, "Old Hang, get over here." Old Hang slowly moved toward me, shaking. I said, "Get in the car. We're going after your young master." He hesitated, but I pushed him into the back seat. I slid into the driver's seat, pressed the gas pedal hard, and the car shot forward like a bullet. I turned the headlights to high beam, their light reaching far ahead. I was determined to catch up with Jockey. Old Hang sat beside me, his face showing great panic. As I drove, I demanded, What's wrong with your young master? His voice trembled, almost sobbing. The young master must have upset a fox spirit. It's haunting him. I snapped. I don't want to hear that nonsense. Tell me the facts. Old Hang gasped for breath. Young Master Wei, you can't tell anyone I said this. When the young master is fine, he's completely normal. But suddenly, he'll start crying, shouting, moving wildly, chasing people. Then, just as suddenly, he's back to normal. I became quiet, shocked. It sounded like Jockey had gone crazy. Old Hang continued. It's been like this for over 3 months. It comes and goes. We've seen countless doctors. The old madam even sent him to Shanghai to see foreign doctors. They said he's perfectly healthy, nothing wrong with him. She's prayed to every god, made every offering, nothing worked. Finally, they decided to quickly arrange his marriage. I listened, my eyebrows furrowed, not interrupting. Old Hang went on. His engagement was set long ago, as you know, young Master Wei. Miss Wang, he really likes her. When he suggested having the wedding sooner, the Wang family agreed. But 7 days ago, he went to their house, grabbed a big knife from the kitchen, and I couldn't take it anymore. I stopped the car. Old Hang, you're making this up, he argued. If I'm lying, may a large boil grow on my mouth. He took that knife and hurt 5 or 6 cooks in the kitchen. He ran out, cutting Miss Wang's 2 brothers. Her older brother is badly hurt, still in the hospital. I was there that day, driving him. It took several of us to hold him down. Miss Wang fainted right there. I sat there shocked again. So, the wedding is off. Then, Old Hang sighed. The Wang family called the old madam right away. She rushed to their house, practically begging their grandmother for forgiveness. The Wang grandmother was reasonable, she said. Yes, probably possessed by a fox spirit. That's why he acted like that. They agreed to keep it quiet to save face and go ahead with the wedding. The truth is, the Wangs are just pretending. Their 2 banks have no money. They are kept going entirely by our master. I barely heard the rest of his words. My mind was racing. How could Jockey have gone mad? If he was truly crazy, how could the Shanghai doctors have found him perfectly healthy? Old Hang's story sounded wild, but I had no reason to doubt him. Even if he were brave enough to lie, he wouldn't dare make up something this outrageous.